Notable players could be on the move now that we've entered the month of June. So I want to play a game. We're going to call it Let's Make a Deal. We have Peter Schrager in our studio here. Let's start with Jaylen Ramsey. Where do we sit with this guy?
Jaylen Ramsey, June 1st, came and went, which means it's most likely he won't be cut. He's going to have to be traded for. And the fact of the matter is he is about due $20 million from the Miami Dolphins. Currently on the trading block, but there have been very few takers at that price tag. Still one of the best corners in football, and eventually, if he had to make the move, could be one of the best safeties in the game.
Well, I've got a general manager in the room. Tell me how this thing goes with Jaylen Ramsey.
It's a little bit more complicated, Greg, because he has over $20 million in fully guaranteed money. So Team X may call. The Dolphins say, hey, we'll give you a fifth-round pick. But you got to eat, 80% of that money. So it's two negotiations going on at once. Makes it more complicated.
Is he still a difference-making player? Is Jaylen Ramsey still a guy who's going to go somewhere and will make a difference?
I think he gives up too many big plays for my taste right now, but I think he would be a perfect candidate to kind of move to that Charles Woodson hybrid role where he can be a safety and still be a leader and extend his career a lot longer because of his height and size.
Okay.
But it would help if you had a cheap quarterback because you can absorb that.
How can you get one?
Let's talk about places where they might have that, like Cleveland. Peter, we touched on it briefly. Take me through that quarterback group.
This could be interchangeable with Flacco or Pickett, depending on which veteran quarterback ends up winning this job. I can't imagine they're going to keep both of these guys and two rookies on the roster, and it is cost efficient to see and to know what you have with a third-round pick in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, the fifth-round pick. I would think, just covering this game, that come training camp, one of these guys will emerge as the veteran quarterback and the other one will be on the trading block. Kenny Pickett might be that guy.
I think Dallas is the perfect fit here, Green. Joe Milton's a developmental project, and I think right now, if you look at it, Kenny Pickett's a better player than Will Grier.
So you're saying the Cowboys maybe try and sign whoever doesn't win that quarterback job and winds up on the open market?
Yeah, I would think it would be, if I had to guess, I think Pickett would be gone, just given the success Flacco has had in Cleveland.
All right, and then let me get to the third one, because this is the one I'm the most interested in, and we'll get Bart in on that, and that is Kirk Cousins and his future in Atlanta.
Complicated. Kirk Cousins has a no-trade clause, meaning he can decide if he wants to go anywhere or not. He is due massive, massive dollars. The team that he's being linked to, whether or not everyone wants to deny it or not, is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
For multiple reasons. One, obviously there's a void in presence there right now without Aaron Rodgers there yet. Secondly, Raheem Morris and Mike Tomlin are arguably best of friends as far as their history together, going back to their time in Tampa. And Arthur Smith, despite the fact he never coached Cousins, did work with Terry Fontenot, did work with Arthur Blank. There is a familiarity there. A lot of this is just relationships. Mike T, you could pick up the phone and have a conversation knowing I've worked with this person before, I've dealt with these people before. Cousins to Pittsburgh, if Rodgers leaves them at the altar, it's a possibility.
Well, let me ask you this way. Is Cousins a better option for the Steelers at this point than Aaron Rodgers?
It is, but it's funny, right? Because it's talk about the butterfly effect. The reason why it's an opening there is because Kenny Pickett was a bust, and we're talking about Kenny Pickett going somewhere to be a great option to be a quarterback.
But is he a better option?
I believe so.
Kirk Cousins a better option than Rodgers?
Yes, because they're still trying to fill that void, and Kirk Cousins offers you multiple years of a solution. But with his injury history, and also his salary and his salary demands, what kind of deal does that mean going forward? Another team that could have benefited from Shedeur because they have a quarterback they have to pay. His name's T.J. Watt, who's going to reset the market.
Right. So, but all of that said,
yes.
If you're them, are you looking at Cousins as a more appealing option right now? Look, we have no idea where we are with Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think he's a better player. I think Aaron Rodgers had a sneaky, solid season coming back from the Achilles, but I think he offers you the ability to have 2 years of a system with one player that everybody can get comfortable around.
Play it out for me.
I totally see it the same way. He's 5 years younger than Aaron Rodgers. You might get 2 to 3 really good years out of Kirk Cousins. So to me, if I'm Pittsburgh, look, at some point, Will Howard has to become part of this conversation. Will Howard was a really good player, didn't have a great offseason. Maybe they like him. I don't know, Green, but Mason Rudolph to me is going to have competition. And if I'm Pittsburgh and I can get some reasonable help on his salary, I'd much rather have Kirk Cousins than Aaron Rodgers.
They could have traded for Kirk Cousins in March. They could have traded for Kirk Cousins in April. To me, this seems like the desperate move to now say, okay, well, we'll pay the Kirk Cousins salary and we'll eat all this cost and we're going to bring him in. To me, you're with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard right now and you're waiting on Rodgers. But did this to yourself. Kirk Cousins is going to be a better option than Rodgers at that salary?
But desperate for who? Because last I checked, the Atlanta Falcons was $13 million over the salary cap. They have to eat some of that money to try and shed some of that money so they can sign some free agents and get somebody in the back end as well. So they're both stuck. They need a great partnership with each other to work it out.
All right, we'll see how it goes. I would like to point out for anyone who hasn't been with us that Bart has had a very busy morning. Can we just sort of...
All right, take a look now. Are we making moves in the National Football League now that the calendar has turned its page? It's officially post June 1st, which means many teams and stars can start making moves. Our star, NFL insider Dan Graziano, is with us. Dan, we always hear about teams having to wait until that date, and now they're good. So who could be impacted here?
Well, you put up a couple pictures there, Randy. So I think you look first at Jaylen Ramsey. The Miami Dolphins have made it clear they intend to move on from him. Had they traded him earlier this offseason, that would have resulted in a dead money cap charge on their 2025 cap of $25.2 million. But having waited till after June 1st, that charge drops to about $6.75 million, with the rest hitting their 2026 cap. So it becomes easier from a cap standpoint to trade him. Now, the acquiring team still has to pay him $20 million, so we'll see if they can find a trade partner, but that's something to look out for. The other one everybody wants to know about is Kirk Cousins, still on the Falcons. Even though Michael Penix Jr. is set to be their starter, if the Falcons had traded Cousins earlier this offseason, it would have been a $37.5 million dead money cap hit. Now, if they do it, it's $12.5 with the rest hitting next year's cap. But the issue with Cousins is not cap, it's cash. He's making $27.5 million in guaranteed salary this year, and he's got another $10 million guaranteed for next year. So whoever acquires him is going to have to take that on or get the Falcons to pick up some of it. And right now, the Falcons haven't been willing to pick up enough of that money to get a deal done.
If only there was a team in need of a quarterback. Oh, hey, next Tuesday, June 10th, the Steelers start mandatory minicamps. And we still have no word on Aaron Rodgers, Dan. So at what point is Pittsburgh just going to start looking elsewhere?
I think we have a couple more months of this unless Aaron Rodgers makes a decision soon. Pittsburgh, they look at next week's minicamp. If Rodgers is not there, as a chance for Mason Rudolph and Will Howard to show what they can do, get some extra reps. If Rodgers is not there by the time they go to training camp in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, late July, then I think that's when the Steelers start to look at other options. They have said, their GM Omar Khan has said, they always go to training camp with 4 quarterbacks. Right now they have 3. So there's a spot for Rodgers. If he doesn't want it, then I would imagine they would get it to somebody else by the time they head to Latrobe in late July. But as of now, Randy, we are just waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
We're pretty good at that by now. Yeah. Steelers opening their season at the Jets on September 7th. Makes one think. Dan Graziano, thank you, sir.
The NFL calendar means teams can stop waiting and start making major moves. So we've made a major move here on SportsCenter by bringing in NFL insider Jeremy Fowler with us. And June, as it turns the calendar, a lot of fans have reasons to be excited for, especially when it comes down to big names being on the move. So why is today's date a big day for a big name?
Yeah, Scooby, after June 1st, teams can save on their salary cap if they trade star players because they can prorate that money out. So that's the case with Jaylen Ramsey and the Miami Dolphins. The expectation is that Ramsey will be traded in the coming days and weeks, and they can save about $10 million on their salary cap if they do so. That is not the issue. He's got $24 million guaranteed. That is the major issue here. Teams have been a little spooked by that, but I'm told the Dolphins haven't engaged with multiple teams. The LA Rams, Ramsey's old team, is on his radar as a potential option. Nothing moving there as of yet. So he should have a new team this fall. Somebody's going to have to pay that money. And then you have Kirk Cousins. I'm going to segue to Cousins here. So similar issue. Now that it's June, after June 1st, after today, they can save $27.5 million on the cap if they trade Cousins. The problem is all that money is guaranteed. Somebody's got to pay it. The Falcons want another team to pay a lot of that to get a deal done. As one source told me, if they were willing to take maybe $7 to $8 million on an offset from another team, this would have been done by now, probably a long time ago. And now the options are scarce. There just isn't much of a quarterback market, especially if the Pittsburgh Steelers are still eyeing Aaron Rodgers. So this is going to have to come to a head in the coming weeks and months. But right now, he's a Falcon. It seems like the team is dug in.
Yeah, the NFL season is all year round. A lot of fun names that could be on the move. But it's a mile marker day in the offseason. It's also Arm Day, OTAs in full swings, mandatory mini camps about to get going. How have the rookie quarterbacks looked